Namaskar, doston. I hope you all are doing wonderful. And today evening we are going to have a session which is going to be very, very relevant for people who are, actually in their starting phases of their careers, and we are going to look for few important, aspects and why those are important as far as your career growth is concerned as you gradually progress in your career hierarchy, right? So now these are quick points which I would like to share out of my own experiences, maybe 7, 8, 9, whatever. uh, and the idea is just to give you a quick glimpse of why these points are so critical for you to kind of imbibe and ensure that these are a part of your daily routine and a part of your working culture. So, um, so let's just start with one, and that is curiosity. Curiosity at the at the working place, and it is important that we stay curious. It is important that we ask questions and figuring out why things are happening the way they are happening, and spending a lot of time with the customers also. Of course, your colleagues, but yes, even the customers, right? And that helps you to develop an overall understanding of whatever product or whatever services in which you are dealing with, right? And that helps you to kind of to get a very micro glimpse of all those things from their perspective. And when we say curiosity, I think we can take a connotation in terms of childlike curiosity, and don't be afraid of putting questions wherever you feel like you have a question, and for that matter, to anybody, right? Then I think what it is important is the trust factor. Right now, again, here, when I say trust, it is the people with which you are working with. Of course, your customers, your peers, your colleagues, your friends, I mean, your internal stakeholders, your external stakeholders, and this also gradually happens, right? Your everyday activity is something which is going to build this, and you need to invest time into doing this, right? Um, then is managing people, and this is something which you start learning at a very early stage of your career. And when I say learning managing people, it is just not that you have 10 people or 20 people and they are reporting into you. No, I mean, it's people management. It is man management, right? Even with your colleagues, even with your peers, your subordinates, your superiors, your conduct, your behavior, right? Your overall approach, the way you connect, all those interpersonal skills. I think that is something which becomes very, very important, and in terms of managing people, because these are things which gradually develop these skills, and when you grow up the ladder in the hierarchy, then when you get people who are reporting to you, how and whys and those things, and that helps you to kind of building a super strong team for you for the task which is there. Then no, I think a point which is important here is kind of resisting the obvious, right? And when I say resisting the obvious, it very simply means that average outcomes or something which has a strong probability, right? Notions past record. All these things have a very fundamental impact on most of the people who are around you. Now you need to keep on thinking out of the box, right? And when I say out of the box, keep on thinking newer ways of approaching to a situation, right? Which can be more innovative, which can be more relevant, other than the one which had been there in place in your company, in your organization. So, kind of the non-obvious paths could potentially, lead to extraordinary outcomes. You never know, and that's the reason you need to explore newer ways, newer strategies, newer policies, and everything. And think out of the box, and I think that again places you at a different level vis-a-vis anybody who's there in your group or community. Then I think what we have picked up for fifth would be you don't get into a comfort zone at any point of time. Put yourself in circumstances which are very unspeculative, right? Very unpredictable, right? And then see yourself how you behave, because these are the actual learnings, at least the initial stages of your career, right? Don't be very risk assessed, on a comfort this thing that yes, I have now developed something and I'm good at it. No, I think keep on exploring, and everything around us is designed for our comfort. And so it was easy to believe that life's purpose is to make life comfortable. I mean, yes. So, but surprisingly, people who inspired us were not making comfortable choices. If at all you look at all those people, right, they have challenged the obvious, challenged the normal, right, and have created something which is extraordinary, right? And they challenge themselves every day, and that's the reason I'm especially pointing out this, that don't get into any comfort zone, because that's the zone which is not meant for you to be in. Then I would say at point number six is spending time with different people, right? And networking is something which is going to be adding huge value, and this value is an asset, trust me, right? It's an intangible asset for you, which is going to be with you through your lifetime. It is just like your FD or any other asset, fixed asset or floating asset or whatever. So this is an intangible asset which you are creating. Spend time in this, and if at all there are a few things which come to my mind is within a week of joining a very respected management institution, people start forming groups, right? Engineers are going to be with engineers, lawyers are going to be with lawyers, people from Andhra are going to be with Andhrites, and so on and so forth. I think this has to be again, shouldn't be there. I think you have a forum, you have access to all sort of people, right? So instead, gaining the most, spending time with people who are kind of from different domains, from different geos, from different functions, and that amplifies your belief and enriches your overall understanding of different human culture, traditions, ways of communicating, ways of articulating, right, for different people. Then at point number seven would be is do not complain, right? Don't get into that mode of this is not good or that is not good, right? And every break during the workday, um, you know generally there are people will find reasons to complain, right? The internet or about the food, the AC, or blah blah blah, salary and whatever. I think this has to be again. I'm not saying that this has to be abolished completely. I know being humans that's not possible, but just try to minimize it, cut it down to the extent possible, right? And stop complaining about things, right? Try to add value to things to the extent possible, right? And where you can't, I think it is better to prohibit, to resist ourselves not to get into that. Then is you know it is also important at the same time that don't try to create impact out of the blues, overnight impact or overnight perception setting. Don't get into that. I mean, just focus on your learning curve, right? Gradually during the start of your career, just pick up things which are important for you, and no one actually expects you also to create an impact or perception. It is just okay to go easy, to be comfortable. Take your own time. Important is to learn and then grow rather than that just jumping out of the blues, right? So don't be in hurry of creating any kind of impact or perception, right? Building, right? Just be normal. Define your learning curve in initial 45 to 60 days to 90 days, and then follow it up, right? Um, and I think there's one more which is coming to my few more which is coming to my mind is right. Don't try to work very promptly on most of the things. Take your time there, because it is also important for you to understand those things, and be more accurate, be more precise, rather than to complete a task. Let's say a given task in, if at all the expected time is 15 days, you try to complete it in a week's time, just to build some perception management or whatever. Don't do that, right? Just take your time, maybe even a little more than that, because initial months, it is important for you to learn those, how accurately, how many options which are there to complete that project, right? So that's more important rather than just jumping and promptly doing it, right? And then I think, see, it is important to stay happy at your workplace, right? And this was true for most of us. And see, the mental state, the physical state, the emotional states, these are so important to drive your inputs and contributions. And that's why people very often say that working in a toxic place does not works for most of the people in terms of overall productivity, right, and performance. And that's the reason you just need to ensure that you are staying positive people. You are mentally, physically, emotionally, you are doing the right things to keep these things charged, because these are also at the same time very very important. So yes, I think these are all the lessons which I generally have picked up during my journey. And I just wanted to share, right, with you all. I'm sure something or the other you will pick up from these 9-10 points. And just a last few things which are a must, kind of for any new kid on the block, let's say, I mean, anybody who has just started his career, is few must do things. You need to catch up books to read, right? And that's very important for you to, so to whatever extent you have time, just try to do that. uh, Two is get coached, right? Just identify a right mentor for you, right? And try to invest time there, but that's the time investment if you're going to finding the right mentors, coaches. This is something which is very important in your initial building years of your career. uh, and then last but not the least, spend time with yourself. I think this is so very important, right? In the mad rush of our schedules of 24 hours, we hardly, pick up time with which we are going to just be with ourselves, right? Understanding ourselves. There are so much thing which we need to know about ourselves as well, and for that, this is important. Ask questions, right, with yourself on why you did this, and if at all you have adopted a strategy, why you adopted this strategy, why not the other one, and so on and so forth. I think this again helps you to kind of push your entire thought process, that thought engine, right? And that works, in a very strong differentiation. So that's it. I think to have a successful career and the most fulfilling career, I think these are things which can be considered as important, right? So just have fun at your workplace. I'm sure this podcast will help you to gain something which is going to help you to kind of build a wonderful career for you. Thanks so much for listening. Take good care of yourself, and yes, do subscribe, like, comment, and share. Right? Take good care of yourself. Bye bye.